Lou shook her head. "But when I first got him up from the road, he said something about his horse. Thrown from it. Thinks he might have broken his leg." "Did he say when? He looks in a bad way." "I didn't ask, but he seemed pretty desperate. Couldn't just leave him there to die, could I?" "No, course not." Ginny bumped shoulders with her sister. They had been brought up to help those in need, and she hoped Mary Lou would never have to grow out of her innocent generosity. "So I told him to come with me. It took quite a while. He had to hop and hobble all the way." The man's head fell forward, his hat still in place. "No wonder he's tired." Ginny bit her lip. "You keep that barrel fixed on him while I get his gun." Mary Lou's eyes widened, but Ginny shrugged. What else could she do? With a racing pulse, she crept forward and lifted the man's damp jacket. It was made from a dark, worsted fabric, but had turned beige from the dirt. Ginny began to unbutton the holster, and the man's hand clapped over hers. She froze and glanced up at his rugged face. Their eyes met. Ginny swallowed hard. "Fella, you want my hospitality? You're gonna have to give this up. You can always go back into that storm." His eyes, gray as the winter sky, held hers. He seemed to size up the situation. Then he slowly eased out his Colt and handed it to her. Ginny nodded and stood. "You stay there. We'll just be out in the hall." "I ain't going nowhere," he growled. Ginny urged Mary Lou out of the door with a nod of the head, and then she followed, closing the parlor door behind them. Mary Lou stood by the kitchen door, Papa's pistol in her hand. "Have I gone and done the wrong thing?" Ginny paced up and down the passage. "No, honey, I just need to think." She looked at the gun in her hand. It was far heavier than Papa's Smith & Wesson, with a long barrel. It looked new. A giggle bubbled up. "Look at us both, like we're going on a raid. Let's hide this thing in the kitchen somewhere." The kitchen was warm from the fire banked up to cook the evening stew. Ginny tucked the gun behind a jar on a high shelf, while Mary Lou took the lid off the pot and gave the vegetables a stir. Ginny grabbed a rag to mop up the lamp oil and threw it on the fire. She went to the sink and washed the smell from her hands, looking out of the window. The storm was whipping up the debris in the yard, and a barn door needed tying shut again. "Did he tell you anything more? Where's he come from?" asked Ginny. Mary Lou shook her head. "Was he with anyone?" Another shake. Ginny cleared the lamps from the table, her task half finished. "He looks like a farm worker, or a cowboy, most like traveling one place to the next, looking for work." She didn't voice the fears that were running through her mind. An outlaw on the run? A robber? Or worse? She keenly felt the vulnerability of running Snow Farm by themselves. Papa had died 2 years ago, but she'd been determined to keep the family homestead, the one thing that connected them to memories of their parents. "Now, Marie-Louise, you must do as I say." Mary Lou looked up at her, blinking her big brown eyes. Things were serious when Ginny addressed her sister by her full name. "We mustn't let the stranger know it's just us two here. We need him to think there's a man in the homestead." Mary Lou cocked her head, a line appearing between her brows. "Trust me on this. We're going to pretend Papa is here, but he's upstairs, sick. We're looking after him in his bed, and any day now he'll be better." Mary Lou stared into the pot. "That's easy. I pretend Papa is still around all the time." Ginny walked over to the fire and laid a hand on her sister's head. Mary Lou had adored their father, too young to see his faults. Their mother had died when she was a girl, and Papa had fallen into a stupor with the grief. Ginny took Mary Lou by the shoulders and gave her a reassuring smile. "Right. Let's see what we can find out about this man." 2. They returned to the parlor to find the stranger asleep, breathing heavily. Mary Lou put Papa's gun in the pocket of her pinafore and sat on the ladder-back chair in the corner. Ginny bit her lip and went over to touch the man's arm. He raised his head, and his eyes snapped open.